So I would just like to give a brief session on hydroponics, what it means. So basically, if you are growing a plant, what are the things that you need? You will need the seed, you will need the soil, you will need a pot to grow it, and you will need, what the fundamental thing that you will need is, you will need soil, because soil contains nutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients. So what are these macronutrients? One of the major macronutrients is nitrogen. So nitrogen, phosphorus, carbon, all of these things are macronutrients. Micronutrients means small elements like zinc, magnesium, all of these are called as the micronutrients. And apart from this, the plant also grows with the help of what is called as the plant hormones like auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid. So these are the different hormones which make the plant grow bigger, taller, have more leaves, grow more roots. So these are the different ways in which a plant grows. And basically we know that a plant absorbs carbon dioxide, gives out oxygen, and they have the light cycle and the dark cycle. So this is the conventional model of how a plant is growing. But what if I told you that we can do all of these things artificially? So that is where the concept of hydroponics or vertical farming comes up. So first we will try to understand what is hydroponics, then we will try to understand what is vertical farming, the concept of vertical farming. So hydroponics means, first of all, hydro, so you are growing it in water. So here you are completely replacing the soil, you are not using the soil as a conventional support medium for the plant. So what is soil? A soil is a medium in which the plant is placed and it holds the plant together so that the plant does not bud. It is a support medium from which the plant will sprout into its different branches and its flowers and etc. But if we replace that soil with some other support medium, so now there is something called as coconut coir and coconut coir pith or perlite, or say we can use some material like compressed clay materials. So all of these materials, you can form them and you can keep the plant inside and the plant will naturally grow because now it has a support medium. But to that support medium, it does not have any capacity to harbor any microorganisms which can convert atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia or nitrate. So what we do is we have to provide artificial nutrients directly. So that is where this hydroponics, that word hydro comes. We are using what is called as artificial nutrients inside the water. So we are mixing the nutrients at specific concentrations for specific requirements inside the water and we pass that water into the support medium. So now there is a support medium, now there is water and in that water there is nutrients. So the plant will comfortably grow. One more important thing is the plant will grow but not outside. You are bringing the plant inside a closed structure. So this can be at the white side, this can be a shade house, this can be a greenhouse, or you can bring it inside an entire building where you have greater control. So depending on whether it is shade house, greenhouse or building, you have a control over the environmental conditions. So what are the environmental conditions? The temperature and the humidity. These are the two major factors which will govern the growth of any plant. So when you are doing this, when you are controlling the temperature, when you are controlling the humidity, when you are controlling the nutrient concentration, and you are controlling the kind of support medium that the plant has. Now you are in total control, so it is like an engineered plant growth. So here, naturally, the growth that you get in a conventional farm, using soil and using a spray, all of these things are completely overtaken. One of the major advantages is in soil you have a lot of bacterial content and there is an opportunity for a lot of plant diseases to come. But in a controlled condition like what hydroponics does, there is very little chance because whatever contamination is there is the one which you are introducing. So you can prevent that contamination from taking place. So these are some of the advantages. Now, there are different methods to go about this, how you feed the nutrients. So that is called crack key method is there, where you simply have a container, you have a cover on top and you keep the plant with a net cup and you allow the nutrients to be stagnated in that container and you allow the plant to grow. This is one method. You can have a nutrient film technique where you have a pipe. This is what we see conventionally in all the videos and in all the farms we see. The nutrient solution is allowed to flow through the pipe as a thin layer, so it is called as a nutrient film technique, and in that the roots of the plant are allowed to touch, so slowly they will start growing. Now these are different methods to make the availability of the nutrients to the plants, and the plants will eventually grow. Now, what are the bigger advantages? You can have specific crops. You can have crops which, say for example, if a crop is growing in Ooty at a particular temperature and humidity, you can recreate that temperature and humidity inside an internal environment in Chennai, and you can provide the correct nutrients which have been studied from research, and you can provide it to the plant. So now the plant is supposed to grow in Chennai, which was originally intended, genetically intended to grow only under the climatic conditions that are available in Ooty or Kodaikanal. So that is the biggest advantage. Another big advantage is the amount of harvestable yield is much more than the conventional plant. So say for example, in a conventional tomato plant, there are lots of factors like wind, temperature, rapid variations in temperature, lot of variations are there, and variations in the soil condition, variations in the amount of nutrients that you provide. But here in the hydroponic setup, you are in control of the total process. So what happens is you are always providing the optimal environmental conditions for the growth of the plant. So what happens? The plant will grow in the way that you intended to do. Say for example, if a conventional tomato plant in a field has say 25 tomatoes, in hydroponics you can achieve double the amount. So that is the real advantage. Now, that was the basic idea about hydroponics. Now, where does vertical farming come in? So, as I told you, we are completely growing it indoors. And in indoors, the amount of land is very, very restricted. And nowadays, land available for cultivation is very, very less. Agricultural land is, cultivable land is very, very less. So, when you are controlling all these factors and you are confident that you can grow these crops inside the indoor system, it is not necessary to grow them horizontally. So you can stack the structures one above the other vertically, and you can achieve plant growth vertically. So when you are doing this, it's actually a kind of farming. So when you are doing it vertically, it is called vertical farming. So these are just terms to describe it. But the real advantage is that you can grow crops which are really not easy to grow otherwise. So say for example, exotic crops like strawberries, exotic crops like lettuce, microgreens. These are all the crops which are capable of being grown much better in your hydroponic setup. So I think that was a very brief idea about hydroponics, and if you have any doubts, you please watch the video again and ask me specific doubts. I will answer specifically. Okay, thank you. Bye.